Yeah, Senator Hughes.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, at the last round of estimates, we examined in some depth the appointment process of Mr Thompson, who's a friend of yours, and you stated that you were very confident in the board. Minister, are you aware of how many board meetings Mr Thompson has attended in the year 24-25?
No.
The answer is 8. There were 11. There were 11 board meetings. I'm concerned, Minister, why your friend Mr Thompson might have only attended 70% of the board meetings, and that's the lowest out of any of the full-time board members. Is that something that concerns you?
Oh, I'd like to see board members attend every meeting, I'm sure, but I have no. It's not something that I've given any consideration to in terms of the individual attendances of board members. It's a board that I've been engaged with. I talk regularly to the CEO and the chair. Have some confidence in their operations. If you've got questions about board governance and how those meetings proceed, I'm probably I've attended a few of them, but Mr Gall and colleagues are probably in a better position to answer those questions.
Have you attended any of the subcommittees as well, Minister?
No.
There is one subcommittee, the Investment Subcommittee, which obviously is a very important one for the National Reconstruction Fund. And again, Mr Thompson is a member of that. He's only attended 7 out of 10 of those meetings, again, the lowest out of all board members. Minister, in the private sector, a board member who only attends 70% of board meetings is unacceptable. This would raise questions about his commitment and performance to the role. Does it raise issues for you about commitment and performance to the role? No, I expect
if there are issues that went to any individual board director and there was concern at the board leadership level, that would be brought to my attention.
Minister, I was reviewing the estimates transcript and I asked you about whether you had lobbied the Prime Minister or Minister Husic or Minister Gallagher about appointing Mr Thompson to the NRF board, and you correctly stated that it was a cabinet appointment process, but you didn't actually answer my question. So I'm just going to ask you again, did you lobby either the Prime Minister, Mr Husic or Minister Gallagher for Mr Thompson to be appointed to the board of the NRF?
As you correctly indicated, Senator, it was a cabinet process, and while I was an assistant minister at the time, I'm still bound by those requirements.
How did Mr Thompson's name be included in the mix for the role?
It's a cabinet process.
Well, he wasn't shortlisted by the recruiters, we know that. He was appointed 2 months after the rest of the 8-member board. He wasn't subject to due diligence by the recruiters. The due diligence that he was subject to was done by the department but has mysteriously been misplaced, and the auditor has noted that the department warned the government that the appointment may attract some scrutiny. There was only a desktop check done of his for his due diligence. Theoretically, that said that it didn't pose a significant risk. It does sound like an unusual appointment and a very unusual appointment process. So I don't think it's an unreasonable question to ask how Mr Thompson's name appeared on the radar of Cabinet.
Well, as I say, it's a cabinet process. All I can say about Mr Thompson is that he has a very strong track record and...
of what?
Well, if you'd allow me to finish, Senator, he's got a very strong track record, including with previous Conservative governments, of working on industrial investment questions, including and in particularly in the shipbuilding sector and in the rail sector. So he's, as you say, known to me, but it's a cabinet process. There has been, I think, the ANAO report did make some observations about the appointment. They don't go to his capacity to perform his function on the board. It's good to see, I have to say, somebody who's got a trades background and experience in manufacturing on that board. It might not be. It's having diversity on that board, as far as I can see, is a very good thing.
So you are confident that Mr Thompson has always conducted himself in a professional manner?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't been told any different, and I would expect if there are issues in relation to board directors, that it would make its way up to me in the normal course of events.
Mr Gore, can I ask a question about social media, the use of social media for the National Reconstruction Fund, and how important social media is for the awareness of the National Reconstruction Fund?
Yes, Senator. We're quite extensive users of LinkedIn, so that's the specific social media that we tend to use, and we have promoted the NRFC site on LinkedIn quite heavily through the course of this year. One of the things that we do look to promote on LinkedIn is investments that we make, and obviously have that opportunity too, when those investments do something, to be able to congratulate them and promote that more broadly as well.
And when you use LinkedIn and you're dealing with the investments, I'm assuming you tag in the names of the organisations in which you're investing and tag in the names of the people that are involved in, if there are photographs or CEOs or whatever it might be.
Senator, not necessarily. Sometimes you mightn't tag in the name if that was the specific entity that put the LinkedIn post in the first instance, because you'd know that was actually in there. And obviously, if people aren't on LinkedIn, you can't tag them in either.
All right. So, Mr Gore, Mr Thompson was tagged in various LinkedIn posts made by the official account, the National Reconstruction Fund Corporation account. And the last example of that, he was tagged and pictured as standing at a formal event in the Hunter region. And any interested citizen, I'm assuming, would easily be able to visit the unlocked page of Mr Thompson, having noticed his presence on the National Reconstruction Fund's pages. Minister, do you expect that your public board appointments should conduct themselves in a professional manner on social media?
I haven't. I sense that there's something that you're going to ask me, Senator, so ask it.
There is a series of social media posts, and I'm going to draw your attention to them, that Mr Thompson has made on LinkedIn while he was a board member. And I am happy to table those. What would you like me to do, Sean? But just for your information, so we're not waiting for them to be tabled, there was a series of them where Mr Thompson made some rather critical remarks about my colleague Angus Taylor, that he has never built anything that builds at all. The LNP has never built anything that builds at all. He has reposted some posts by the ACTU that support the Labor government's, oversight of a piece of legislation that was already in place under the coalition, but whatever. He's also reposted, with comments, this is what real leadership looks like, under one of Anthony Albanese's posts. He's written one that says, don't risk Dutton, that has a cartoon underneath it. There is one that says, only one party is committed to a future made in Australia, and it's the Australian Labor Party. That was a direct quote by Mr Thompson. He's also reposted an attack on me, which I was pleased to see. Do you think it's appropriate, Minister, that a public board member is using their profile to make political comments?
I don't think there's any. I'd be very surprised if there was a restriction on people who are on boards.
Not after whether there's a restriction. It's not a legal requirement. It's just an expectation of behaviour.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What I mean is, I thought he must have done something dreadful, Senator. I'll have a look at the posts.
So that's acceptable. I just want to know if that's the sort of standard
having
of behaviour.
Having a view about Mr Taylor's capability, it's not.
Or mine.
He's not the only person in Australia to think that that guy's not up to it.
If you had known that he was making these posts or going to make these posts, do you think that you would have appointed him to the board still?
Well, as I say, it was a cabinet appointment. All of the relevant checks were made. Very confident in the appointment.
Do you think that you'll have words with Mr Thompson now that you know that he has been making social media posts on LinkedIn that are politically motivated and at the same time being tagged into the National Reconstruction Fund Board's
I won't be
post?
rushing out of here to ring him up. No.
You don't think that that's worth a conversation?
Well, I'll have a look at the posts. I don't spend time. You've gone well beyond my knowledge of social media posts. Mr Galls talked about how people get tagged and all that sort of stuff. It's not my scene really.
Is your scene the Briggs Review?
My scene is doing the job that I'm tasked with doing.
Have you read the Briggs Review yet?
Yeah. And
do you think Mr Thompson's appointment to the National Reconstruction Fund Board is consistent with the recommendations in the Briggs Review?
It's an appointment of government, an appointment of the Cabinet.
I know, but is it consistent with the Briggs Review that you withheld from public scrutiny for 2 years?
I know that there are different views out there about within the opposition about the role of trade unions and
nothing to do with trade unions, just to do with board appointments.
Whether blue collar workers should be on these kind of outfits, but I've got no difficulty with the appointment, cabinet appointment. I'm just reviewing these now. I mean, he's not. On the basis of these, you would draw the conclusion that he's, not a supporter of the Liberal Party. He doesn't. That's not a qualification for office.
No, but an apolitical approach to his role on the board of the National Reconstruction Fund, I would imagine.
We've got a former Liberal assistant treasurer on.
I don't see any posts from her.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be troubled. I wouldn't be troubled by people having different views. It's a board with some diversity and some capability.
I know. It's not particularly professional, though, is it?
I don't single her out because she is just one of a very capable board.
Who was put through appropriate due diligence by a recruiter, not some sort of desktop due diligence that somehow magically ended up in the bin.
Yeah.
Do you think that a desktop due diligence would have uncovered a preponderance to political social media posts from Mr Thompson?
Well, I don't know about that, but it was a cabinet process, and I've told you as much as